Hi guys, and a very warm welcome back to the Art of Paul Apps. Now, every month on my wildlife and landscape painting score, I have all the members, they constantly post different photographs as reference photos for anyone else in the school to enjoy and use and paint from. And that's a really lovely thing to do. And we have a growing library of that sort of reference for people to access. But every month I choose one of them, and I set that as a monthly challenge for the membership to get involved with if they would like to. It's not compulsory, but if they do, then they can choose whatever medium they want to do it in. And some people do several versions of it in different medium. That's fantastic. But every month, or at the end of every month, it falls to me to do my version of that said reference challenge, and also to set whatever medium I want to do. This month in June, it was a beautiful waterfall. I love this photograph, and I chose to do it in Casein for the members to attend on one of my evening live streams on a Sunday. And it was lovely. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and so much so that I wanted to actually share this with you guys on YouTube and on my free score. And so that's what this is all about. So without further ado, that side is where you'll see the photograph of the final painting, but watch on, see how it developed, see how it came about, and enjoy. And if you want to get involved with my wildlife and landscape painting score, all the details are in the show more tab underneath this video. Get involved if you would like to, and I'd love to welcome you as the latest member. But that aside, enjoy the video and get something from it. Catch you all soon. Take care.
Now this is my Casein, and I haven't really, I've looked at it, a bit worried in case it wasn't any good anymore, but I haven't used this for months. And it's still, well, I think, got a bit of a tang to it. But I think essentially it's good to go. I don't see anything wrong with it at all. Not a scrap of mold on her. So yeah, very pleased with that. So that's all my colours. Yeah. All right, I'm going to bite the bullet. Let's get on with it and let's do this. All right. So we have got a lovely backdrop of trees in the background here. And we've got a very high point to the top of the falls, about somewhere like that maybe. And we've got maybe a little bit of light on top and coming down here to this first drop on the falls. And I'm sort of going to draw it pretty much as is. I'm going to see a little rock form there coming square out like that. I should use a bigger brush. Let's go for this one, which is a rosemary. This is a series 2. Oh, my eyes are going 236, and it's a 1/2 inch. All synthetic bristle, and I'm just going to come in and pick a few colors out. I just want to come in with the dark, a little bit of black, a little bit of the, I think it's raw sienna, burnt sienna, I mean. I just want to come in and sort of look at the general areas of darks in here and just block them in. I'm just going to come here and get that nice dark underneath the boardwalk complete. Greens with a little touch of red. Doesn't have to be a bright cab red. It can be any reds. Even a burnt umber is a red. And that simply will negate the power and the chroma of your green color. And it works with any complementaries that you're using. Now, of course, these little tufts of moss coming down this way are getting larger as they come closer to you. You can see me almost destroying some of the areas that I'd saved for white water by putting these little darker passages in. A little bit of dark up there is going to work for me as well. Something like that. You could use a rigger if you feel more comfortable. Don't let me dictate the big brush. I'm going to come in here. Oh, I didn't want that. Leave that alone. I'm going to come in a little bit of that earthy red, English red oxide colour. I want to come down in here and put in the suggestion of all that, I guess, leaf litter that's around the edge of the woods, coming down to here and under there, through here. So we're just getting rid of the remainder of our white paper, just suggesting some of those little areas of mistiness back up there. little bit of a glow. We can make more of that. This is just to set the scene. We're just trying to see where we need to take it further. Should we need to take it further? So all of these forms, you can read water. You can almost see what's underneath the water in terms of the way the water is torrenting over the surface. Okay, so while you carry on watching me paint this lovely waterfall, I just wanted to bring your attention to two schools that I run over on school.com. One of them is absolutely free to join. There are over 400 members now, and I give you all of my YouTube videos ad free, and I also throw in a few long form ones to help you out as well. The community is fantastic, and there is a lot to be had from being a member of that school. In addition to that, I have a paid school. Now, the paid school is called the Wildlife Art School, but don't let that title alone fool you. It is actually the Wildlife and Landscape Painting School. And each and every Sunday evening, I hold a 2-hour live stream for all the members. And I cover landscape subjects, wildlife subjects, and in different mediums. So each one is filmed, edited, and uploaded to the classroom, so it will build into a massive compendium of information that members can revisit at any time in the future and as often as they like. In addition to all of that, I have a load of full-length tutorials that I've made in the past and continue to make now and add to the classroom. So all in all, for your $15 a month, which is all it costs, that's not even 2 lattes a month, you will get such a vast sum of information that you can draw upon when it comes to learning to paint in a raft of different mediums as well. The community is great, and all the members are getting to be friends and know each other, and it really is just a lovely place to be and share your art, share your experiences with each other, and learn from me and have that community backing you up all the way. So if you feel you're struggling with your wildlife painting or your landscape paintings and you would love to learn a whole lot more on how to do it, how to achieve better work, then why not check out my wildlife and landscape painting school. All the details and links you need to use are under every video that I make in the Show More tab. Check it out, get involved, and I'd love to welcome you as my latest member to the school. Look forward to seeing you there. Take care. Okay, now I'm going to look back up into there in a moment. I think we need to have a little bit more of a dark area just up underneath there. A little bit of black in there. A little bit of that. I'm going to come back in with the umber just to sort of make it not a stronger, vibrant, darkish, warm color as the burnt sienna would do for that. A lot of white sitting in my brush, and just see that's not a bad place for it to be, but it's not what I planned. I'm just going to break some of this up with some of these colors. See how that looks. We're going to bring a little bit down this way. We're going to actually use some of this green. We're going to use a little bit of the burnt umber. There's some in there. Let's bring some of that into here. I'm just going to sort of change the dark down here. A little bit of water and make that flow somewhat easier. And then we come through this way. We've got that dark part there. Quite dark there. It's quite a deep piece of wood. And I'm going to bring those 3 posts there. The post goes up into the dark, but it doesn't attach itself all the way up to the next light piece. It will go only so far. It's those angles that you see and you don't see that give way to the direction of this. You know, you don't see that point. You don't see that. You don't see that. You don't see that as it goes into and out of sight from what you can actually view. And equally on here, you see all of this on top here because you're in full view of that angle. So that's fine. Another stronger tree maybe coming down here, I think, and that will come. Don't want that there, but it will come just underneath there, so it looks as though it's coming through and appears to be the other side of the fence, and that's giving a lot of clarity to what's important, what's in front of. That's fine. Now there's a couple of lighter bits of wood in the background there, deadfall, but I'm not going to try and do that. That will just confuse things. But you can suggest some that are coming, and suggest some of the wood coming through here, which we did over here. We can do the same thing again. And I want to put in a little bit more light on this part, for instance, that we're going to put a couple of bits of tree coming up through that too, just to break it up. All right, let's just turn our attention then for the last quarter of an hour or so on this water, and then I will come back in here tomorrow because I'm enjoying this and I will play around with it tomorrow. I might film it so I can put it up for you, and just want to play around with it and just get this to a final close tonight anyway. And put a bit of white in, and we're going to pretty much use the white with a little touch of our blue. That's just too blue, went too far. Come back in with more white, and just the merest touch of that red. Now we're going to see what damage we can do with this brush. And I'm going to come in here with a stronger value of this lovely color. Now you can see how that was quite white to start with, but now you can see how more white this has suddenly become. Right, let's crack on and get this finished, or I'm never going to get the water done. We've got 5 minutes. So I'm going to put in a little bit of extra white, which has got a little touch of yellow into it. Got that lovely glow, lovely white up in here. But they're starting to give that extra little wetness around the contours of the rocks in the foreground, which are really important to do. And you've got little lights up into some of this too. You could actually put in a little more water to your mix and just play around with some of this. They're glazes, they're little glistens, and I'm tapping off as I do. And you've got more of my fingerprints into this than anything else, but it does prove as to who painted the picture. You see me punching and dabbing so many times. That's just the way that I work. I just put a color on. Maybe it's just a little too strong, a little too dominant, so just knock it back with my finger. Okay guys, carrying on from yesterday's live, and I just wanted to get this little scene finished for you so you see the conclusion. And nothing much has changed. The same mixes are in here as I finished up on. And when I looked at this last evening, there wasn't too much left to do. I just want to put a few highlights in and just put a little bit more information into some of the greens in the area in the foreground. So these are almost on the face of the boulder as it's sort of branching towards the water a little bit more. Maybe a little more green in this pot here, and maybe a bit of yellow. Just lime it up a little bit, make it a little more acidic. And we can come in here. That's a little bit darker than I've been using. That's fine. I'm going to come in with a bit more yellow and a little touch, just a little touch of white in there. And we can just come back in and carry on building up the surface. Now I don't want to come down too far with this. It's going to have to get a little bit darker a little bit quickly down in this area. I'm just going to bring up a little bit through here. More taps, just more little fragments of light. A little bit of dark in here, just mixing up from the browns, and we've got a bit of a dark. I'm going to come in with a darker value there, but all the way through here where the water is either making this damp, and that's why it looks dark right on the lead edge. What I will be doing is coming across this side with some of this sort of mid-green value that I want to put in on these areas here. Now this has been quite neglected by me during the course of this painting, so let's address that right now. I'm going to come in here. There's quite a dark area there, just the odd little tap of something on the surface of the rocks. I would temper that with a little bit of red in there, maybe a little bit more. There we go. That will knock that down a little bit, and I can bring that into another space here, and I can put a bit more yellow to that. Now that is a tempered, it's like these, but it's got a little red in, so it's knocking it back a bit. And what I wanted that for was up in here. Just want to put a bit more light into this. And there's a dark in here. Now this is the area I didn't quite manage to sort out. So we're going to bring that rock down like that. and we're just going to break out that dark over that light area there, so that you got a shadow of the boulder. I'm guessing that's what we're seeing, shadow of the boulder, and then just that fast running water breaking out through the back there, which finishes that area off quite nicely. So you're not quite sure what you're looking at, but it is a different color. It's a red to the green. Now, when you get these situations where maybe you've got some really red earth or debris, old autumn leaves or something like that against remainder of green stuff, then the complement created in your painting through warms of the reds and the cools of the greens really work out for you. They work very, very well. Okay, now have I done, I'm changing the subject, but have I done enough to suggest that light? I'm going to come in here with a little bit of white color, maybe a little bit of that warm rose color. Very, very weak solution. Still coming in here, and I want to play around with this space in here. Tapping it off, just want to blow a little bit more out as it's coming up in here. Don't want to lose all of those trees, but I just want to suggest that cloud, as it were, that cloud bank, not coming down so far like that. Just breaking it up and making it look as though it's quite vapory through here. And this is the final part of this painting, I think. Pretty much almost there with it all. And I have had a lot of fun with it, gotta say. But yeah, I just enjoy this aspect of it, just playing around with little taps of information, suggesting this unending travel of water at speed over surfaces and the rocks to create these wonderful patterns and forms, and suggesting all that lovely movement. Now we've got all that information. We've got this beautiful cascade all the way down here. We can put some bubbles, we can tap in here now. We've got this beautiful white going on, but it is whiter than some of those paler colors underneath it. So we get a little tap. So we've got this big mix of white and splashes and a brighter color. Every mark that I'm making is just trying to suggest that movement of water, pushing itself away, as I said, from the source. And like that. How much of this you do is entirely your decision. I'm on it, so I'm doing it. I'm enjoying it so much. So I'm just playing with the ideas. But it seems to go uphill here, and I don't want that. So I'm going to bring that a little bit more level there. So that can be coming down that way. That's suggesting that that line is going maybe slightly more of an angle there. And then we can break off some of this up here as to be coming down the edge of this rock here. I think that's pretty much done. I really do. You could keep on and on and on. One thing I will do a little bit more of, excuse me, before we finish, let's put a little bit more yellow in to some of this green here. And I'm just going to come in with just another level into some of this. Oh, that was wrong. That's picked up a little bit of light. I have to repair that. But I just wanted to put in a little bit more light into some of these areas on this moss. Little signature down here out the way. Sorted out, one signature, one painting. I've enjoyed it, gotta say. So let's just peel back all the outer. Let's just see what it all looks like. But there we are. I'm going to call this a day. I hope you've enjoyed it, as I say. Take care, everyone. Take care. Happy painting. Stay safe. Bye-bye.